This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Emergency crews are responding right now to a structure fire in Emerado, North Dakota. We called the Grand Forks County Sheriff's Office, but they say no one is available to provide more information at this time. Initial reports, however, indicate that it is a house that's on fire.
It sounds like the house itself is engulfed. The residence is out with his children. HP is on scene. It sounds like it is spreading quite well from the sound of what the HP said.
We do have a reporter on the way, and we'll bring you the latest as soon as we get an update. The North Dakota state legislature has passed a bill banning the use of vaccine passports except for in limited situations. The bill says no government agency or business can require a customer to give their vaccine status, but there are many exemptions to the bill. Higher education and airports are exempt from the bill. It also doesn't apply when North Dakota is in a declared emergency, nor does it apply to vaccines under emergency use by the FDA, which the COVID vaccines are. Nevertheless, lawmakers said they're striking the balance between the rights of businesses and their customers.
Have any plans on doing this, or do I believe any businesses have any plans of requiring this type of records of certification? I understand that there's a lot of concern out there. This should alleviate the concerns.
There are no specific punishments for companies who don't comply by requiring documentation of someone's vaccine status, but they may have their licensing and permits threatened. Governor Doug Burgum said he opposes any kind of government-mandated vaccine passport. New developments tonight on a hate crime in Moorhead. We're learning that it was a loss prevention employee from the Dilworth Walmart who helped crack the case by telling police they have video of someone who had recently purchased red spray paint. Last night, we broke to you on Valley News Live at 9 that this man, 22-year-old Ben Enderle, was arrested for felony harassment and felony criminal damage to property in the second degree. Police say he vandalized the Moorhead Fargo Islamic Center mosque over the weekend with several hate messages. Coming up tonight on Valley News Live at 6, praise and thanks from local law enforcement to the woman who helped take Enderle into custody. It's a beautiful day, but we're on the lookout for rain in parts of the region. Let's head over to Hutch to find out the latest.
Andrea, thank you so much. You're looking into Grand Forks from our Home of Economy location. Dark clouds there as a cold front is moving through. We enjoyed some 70-degree weather today in both Grand Forks and in Fargo, but changes are in the offing. A cold front causing clouds and some sprinkles, mainly pushing into northwest Minnesota, but we do have some trailing showers pushing through Towner County. A couple of rumbles of thunder from these cells as they've worked their way east at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So southern Marshall County, western Polk County, moving into Pennington County for you in Thief River Falls right now. And we do have some Hillsborough showers that are pushing out of Mayville. Look at this, 72 Fargo, 70 in Oaks and Jamestown, but 54 in Langdon. And that cold front has a little punch to it, and it'll continue to move through this evening. Fargo, best chance of any showers from this cool front will be in the 8:30 to 10 o'clock time frame and into the overnight. These showers will push into Minnesota. So passing showers, some of them heavy because of their convective nature. I'll have details on that, and we'll talk a little bit about what you can expect as we go through your Thursday here in just a few moments.
Okay, thanks, Hutch. We are learning more this afternoon as to what led up to the resignation of a Fargo middle school teacher. Many students reported to the principal that social studies teacher John Rayan at Carl Ben Eielson Middle School had been touching female students' backs, arms, and shoulders and moving their hair. Rayan turned in his resignation days after receiving a letter from the district stating that he would be fired with cause. This wasn't Rayan's first complaint. In 2015, he was ordered to undergo counseling after slapping a student on the bottom in front of another teacher. And then in 2016, he was placed on administrative leave after allegedly telling a student they were hot and making an inappropriate gesture. A 13-year-old boy is charged with aggravated assault for a stabbing yesterday in Grand Forks. Police were called to West Elementary School for a report of a stabbing that happened outside. A middle school boy was found in University Park with a stab wound and taken to Altru by ambulance. The two boys know each other. Police found the suspect at a nearby home. He will not be identified since he's a juvenile. One of the jurors in the Derek Chauvin trial says the images he saw in court still trouble him. Chauvin was convicted on all charges in the death of George Floyd. Brandon Mitchell, a 31-year-old basketball coach, says he wanted to serve as a juror because of all the protests sparked by Floyd's death. But he says listening to witnesses and seeing the evidence was stressful.
It was like a funeral. I mean, it literally was like a funeral. It was like you're walking into a dark space and you feel it. You feel the energy, and it's not pleasant.
Because of the increased media attention in the case, Judge Peter Cahill ordered the names of the jurors cannot be released for at least 6 months. Around the nation, the man accused of putting his feet on a desk in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office during the Capitol riot is getting out of jail. Arkansas resident Richard Barnett will be under home detention while his case plays out. A judge says the Department of Justice hasn't proven he needs to stay behind bars. Barnett is charged with 7 crimes that could land him in prison for almost 6 years. So far, he's pleading not guilty, but a prosecutor says plea discussions are underway. We are just a few hours away from President Joe Biden's first speech to a joint session of Congress. KVLY Washington News Bureau's Ted Fioraliso is live on Capitol Hill with more on what we can expect to hear and see tonight.
Well, Andrea, the last time that Congress came together for a speech like this, we had a different president. And it was just weeks before the country shut down because of the pandemic. Tonight, the speech and the setting will be very different. For the first time in history, a president addressing Congress will be flanked by 2 women, Vice President Kamala Harris and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The House chamber will look different in other ways. Because of COVID protocols, not every lawmaker was invited. Only about 200 people will attend, and there will be no civilian guests.
So it will be a very different feeling. Look, this is the pandemic. We're dealing with the pandemic while more than 200 million doses have been administered.
A major part of the speech will be outlining the American Families Plan. That's the next phase of the administration's infrastructure investment, a $1.8 trillion spending plan that includes universal pre-K, 2 free years of community college, and tax credits.
That's going to be an investment in people, if you will, an investment in families, in kids, and our grandkids.
Lawmakers are split on what infrastructure investment should be.
The economic hit has been to the tune of trillions of dollars, much more than we are investing back in. We can't afford not to be investing in this.
We should be targeted and focused in making sure that we're investing properly in America's aging infrastructure rather than using the infrastructure package as a vehicle for a liberal spending wish list.
There will be an official Republican response after the speech given by South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. He'll talk about what he calls the GOP's vision of empowering opportunity and working families. Live on Capitol Hill, I'm Ted Fioraliso, Valley News Live. Andrea?
All right, thanks, Ted. Turning to our coronavirus coverage, masks will be required for students in West Fargo Public Schools through at least the end of the year. This comes after parents gathered outside the school board meeting earlier this week, saying parents should get to decide whether or not their kids wear masks at school. The district says they will continue to follow guidance from the North Dakota Department of Health, which strongly recommends schools continue the use of masks, physical distancing, and contact tracing. The state of Minnesota has gotten more than 4 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine into arms. Now there's a push to vaccinate younger Minnesotans because of concerns they may be driving the spread of new COVID cases. Right now, the Pfizer vaccine is the only one approved for 16 and 17-year-olds. The State Department of Health says more than 36,000 people in that age group have gotten at least 1 dose of the vaccine. Infectious disease experts have said that ending the pandemic will likely require the vaccination of children to prevent the virus from further mutating into new variants.
But the fact of the matter is, every person who gets a shot reduces the chance of that happening, reduces the chance of community spread, and gets us closer to putting this thing away for good.
Most children who get COVID will have mild to moderate symptoms, but some are severe and in rare cases may die. Experts say 12 to 15-year-olds could have an approved vaccine very soon. We're getting a look now at where different age groups stand when it comes to getting the COVID-19 vaccine in Clay County. According to Clay County Public Health, more than 200 16 and 17-year-olds have been vaccinated. Over 8,000 between the ages of 18 and 49 have received the first dose, 4,000 between the ages of 50 and 64, and more than 6,000 over the age of 65. Public health staff also say they can now provide vaccinations 7 days a week.
We're pretty saturated when it comes to vaccine right now, so there should be no reason a person could not get a vaccine if they're looking for one.
342 first doses and 300 second doses will be administered in Clay County this week. It's time to start thinking about ticks and protecting ourselves from the diseases they carry. We've got advice from an expert up next.
Sunshine to begin the day, captured here on our CorWetAuto.com Fargo Skycam. But a little bit of low clouds and fog down near the Dakota Magic Casino. We do have some showers moving through as a cold front will sweep away the 70s. For now, your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up next.